Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Natasha Denona and my favorites of hers. There is a Black Friday event happening on Natasha Denona's website right now, and I'm certain it'll go through till the end of Monday for Cyber Monday. If there are more deals that pop up tomorrow on Cyber Monday, I'll be sure to share it on my Instagram. If you're not already following me on Instagram, consider doing that. I do frequently update that account throughout the week. And finally, what's not to like talking about Natasha Denona? Gives me a chance to sit down and play with one of her palettes, which I'm pretty excited about. So if you're interested in today's look, I do have the tutorial at the very end. You can go through Natasha Denona's website, looking at the various discounts, starting with the ones with the steepest discount. And if I do happen to own the product, I'll actually show it on here. If not, occasionally I think I'll just put a picture above. So we'll just see what the best format is while I'm going through editing. Now, I did participate in this event. I did order the Metropolis palette, which is a 28 pan palette. It's the smaller pan size compared to her previous larger palette formats. This palette came out around this time last year, and I was very, very interested in it. But I thought I would wait because at the time I got the Lila palette and then very shortly the gold palette. And so this year I was able to get it. I'm really happy about that. When it does come in, I'd love to sit down and do a video of it in case you guys are interested, and maybe you already got this palette already through the event. So I figure we can start with the items that are most discounted at 50% or more. For items that I really like that are discounted at more than 50% is going to be the Diamond and Blush palette. This palette has been on sale for the entire year, as far as I could remember, at 50% off. But now you can actually grab it for $40, originally retails for $89 US, off of her website. I have the color story Daria. And there's also another called Citrus. Citrus is deeper skin tone friendly, but I do think you can make Daria work for deeper skin tones as well. I love this glow system. Now, this is not a palette you might be, enticed to bring around everywhere to travel with, but you can actually create complete eye looks and, of course, a whole, cheek glow look with it. I've really enjoyed this palette because it just gives you everything you need to glow as much as you would like. You certainly don't have to use all of the products. You can just stop once you've achieved that kind of glisten or glow that you're aiming for. And then moving on to the items that are 50% off. First, we have the limited edition Safari eyeshadow palette. This is an all matte palette. And if you're looking to add more mattes to your collection, or like Natasha Denona, she likes to add a little twist to her palettes. These mattes are certainly not, the common mattes we see, but they will help you build your looks and complement your collection likely. So the Safari palette is now $64.50. Originally it retails for $129. And next we have the Cranberry eyeshadow palette. This is a 5-pan palette. The pan sizes are going to be same as these larger pan size you see here. And the Cranberry palette has been on sale off and on in the past year as well. It currently retails for $24, regular is $48. And then next we have the eyeshadow palette 10. Comes with 10 shades. They are in smaller pan sizes. All 10 shadows are her shimmer metallic formula, and the color story is more on the neutral side. There is like a pop of blue, teal, and kind of this like periwinkle color. So if you're looking for neutral metallics or shimmers to add to your collection, this might be a good one. Regularly retails for $95. It's now going for $47.50. And then we have the Sunset eyeshadow palette. I don't have this palette either, but the size of the Sunset palette is going to be the same as her gold palette. And pan sizes will be the same as well. Regularly retails for $129, now going for $64.50. The Sunset palette is sort of like the sister or big sister palette of her Sunrise palette, which that palette is on sale for $39. Regular price is $65. You might be interested in one or the other. In my opinion, I think if you like that kind of red, orange undertone and those types of looks, you might be better off choosing one or the other rather than both. Of course, if you really, really like that, then having both can't hurt. And you know, you have more eyeshadow options to play with. And if I had to pick between the Sunset and Sunrise palette, I would actually pick the Sunrise palette. And I'll talk about the Sunrise palette a little bit more in just a bit. Moving on to the items at 40%, there are several items in here that I'm very interested in. First, we have the 2 eyeshadow palette 28. Each of the palettes come with 28 shades. There are 2 color stories. One is the purple and blue palette and the other is green and brown. I don't have any of these. I've heard just tremendous, like, great things about them. These are the first palettes people had really kind of come to know Natasha Denona for, and if I remember correctly, Nikki Tutorials reviewed one or both of the palettes, which really got a lot of people interested in Natasha Denona. So the original palettes, what I've heard is that the formulas are great. You get a combination of shimmer and matte shades. They regularly retail for $239. Now at 40% off, it's $143.40. These palettes are a little bit too big for me, but for makeup artists, I think it's perfect because you get such a wide assortment from the same group of color. You get like a wide assortment of browns in the green and brown palette, and you get a wide assortment of blues in the purple and blue palette. The Sunrise eyeshadow palette is 40% off. I just talked about that a moment ago. And of the 2, Sunrise and Sunset, I prefer the Sunrise palette because I'm drawn to the purple and the purple undertone shades that you have on the Sunrise palette. And if you like purples and reds, there's also the Love palette, which is a limited edition palette that's also 40% off. Now, if you're wondering, what does limited edition mean? Good question. I'm not sure either. The definition of limited edition seems to really vary between companies. Some companies, when they say limited edition, it's only available for a short amount of time, like maybe a month or 2, or the moment that the stock sells out in first or second production, then they pull it. They don't bring it back. In other cases, they'll bring it back a couple years later, you know, or something like that. With Natasha Denona, what I've noticed, when something is limited edition, it could be available for quite some time, a year, 2 years, and maybe even a bit longer until we don't see it anymore. So yeah, if you're interested in any of the limited edition palettes, I think so far that's going to be Safari and the Love eyeshadow palette. I do recommend getting it during the sale, Safari being at 50% off and Love palette at 40%. The next 2 products I want to talk about is not eyeshadow, but rather her face and cheek products. First is going to be the Bronze Cheek Face Glow palette, which I have. This came out summer of this year, along with the Bronze eyeshadow palette. And then there's also a Love Glow cheek palette that came out February of this year. The format's the same, 4 pans, same size, just complete different color story. I'll put a picture of the Love Glow palette above so you guys can compare. Now, with the Bronze Cheek palette, varied kind of reception. I actually really, really like the Bronze Cheek palette. I have light to medium skin tone and more towards medium during summer, and I am able to get this palette to work for me. I think it gives me a really nice complementary glow, and it's not too pigmented on me. It seems to be just right, and when I add these products on, I can actually tell the difference between each of them. Obviously not so much with this very neutral base, but all the other ones, it just works. I've heard comments where from people with lighter skin tone than myself and deeper skin tone where they say it doesn't work for them. So that's just something to be aware of. But if you have light to medium skin tone like me and you're looking for that bronzy glow, which by the way, I do think you can wear this bronzy glow during the winter time too, depending on the look you're trying to do. I don't think it's only suitable for summer either. If you just want a glow that's more coppery versus pink versus golden, champagne-like, I would actually use this palette. For the Love Glow palette, there's more of a pinky and even a little bit more red in the cream base. And I've heard varying reviews for this palette as well. Some people feel like either the Glow Impact powder or the diamond powder highlighted their texture a bit much, so they didn't really like that. And it seems like 3 of the 4 products are generally liked from what I've seen. If I had to pick one of the 2, for me it would be the bronze palette. Now I'm in the 30% off section. There's quite a few items on here of interest. First we'll start with the Biba eyeshadow palette. This is one of her best-selling, most popular palettes. The Biba palette is an all-neutral eyeshadow palette. It has matte and shimmer shades, and people just can't seem to get enough of it. It's understandable. It's very wearable daytime that you can, of course, with Natasha Denona, easily amp up for the evening. But I think a lot of people see this color story and they're able to envision themselves wearing the colors on this palette. It is now 30% off. So regularly retails for $129. Now it's going for $930. The next palette is the one that I got. It's the limited edition Metropolis palette. Again, regularly $129, now retailing for $90.30. The Metropolis palette has 28 shadows, and the theme around this palette is kind of like urban jungle. I think she referenced New York as the inspiration behind it. It was released around this time last year, has kind of that burnt gold, orange, coppery vibe to it, and then you get these fun pops of like a bright blue, then you have like a matte green. I can't wait to sit down and create some looks with this palette. Also, the format of this palette is different from anything else that she's released. Pan sizes are smaller, unlike on the 28 pan purple and blue and green and brown palettes. But it also has more shades than her meaty palettes that retail for $65. But have 15 shades in them. So the format is really quite different. I think it was definitely a surprise when she released last year. I'm very interested to sit down and try this. The next palette that's also 30% off is the gold palette, which I have. The gold palette, if you are a gold eyeshadow lover, you are going to really enjoy the gold palette. There are obviously several golds here, but she keeps it interesting. She has this bright gold, foil metallic like. She has golds in different textures. The softest is going to be the one that I just swatched, very foil like. This one here is a dual chrome called Lime Chrome. It shifts green. This one here is more of a sparkly gold, so more suitable as a lid topper. This gold here you can use all over your lid, blend out, and maybe deepen it a little bit with the shade here, Log, or keep it that way, just as a one and done eyeshadow as well. I think the varied uses you can find with this palette is really, really fun. So if you love gold, she might be it. The next palette I wanted to mention is a Star palette. I don't have this palette, but I know people who do tend to really enjoy it. So I think it's just a matter of whether the color story entices you versus the other options available. And then for her cheek products, we have the Bloom palette, which I have. That is 30% off. And then the other palette is the Tan palette. Not to be confused with the bronze palette. The tan palette is a bronze and glow, different undertones than the bronze palette. This is more coppery, whereas the other one is more brown and orange base. Of all her 4-pan glow cheek palettes, the Bloom is the most popular. It is medium to deep skin tone friendly. It's what I have on my face today. So that glisten you see is really all thanks to the products on here. If you had to get one of her 4-pan cheek palettes, this is the one I recommend. It seems to work best for many different people. And if you're looking for her entire glow system, then the 6-pan Diamond and Blush, that's the one to go with. For the last part, and certainly not least, these are some of the best deals you can get from the sale on her website. We have first the Black Friday exclusive 28 Pro palette dual set. So those are the 28 large palettes, and you can get both for $239, which is basically buy one get one. And the next bundle is the Biba palette combined with the Sunset palette at $129. Is basically buy one get one. The third bundle set we have is the Sunrise palette combined with the Love palette for $65. And if you like the purple, the pinks, I think this would be my choice bundle to get out of the three. And then the bundle that I think is a pretty great deal is the Bronze Cheek and Love Glow palettes. We spent several minutes earlier talking about that, but you can get both of them now for $55. That's pretty great. And if you're wondering what is happening with the new palettes that were released last half of this year. So you have the Trio Chrome Glam palette, Bronze palette, then you have the Mini Zendo palette, as well as the Retro Mini palette and Glam Mini that she released actually pretty early on this year. Those are not on sale on Natasha Denona's website. If you do follow me on Instagram, I did share that Cult Beauty was having a 25% off sale on these newer products. I don't know if Cult Beauty is participating in Cyber Monday deals. If I do see it, I will definitely share it once again on my Instagram. So follow me on there if you're not already. It definitely helps me get news out to you guys quicker on that platform than relying on YouTube. And I want to clarify the reason why I didn't go over any of her lip products or other base products is I haven't tried it myself. So I don't have an informed opinion to share, but once you get over to her website, you'll definitely be able to see everything. So thank you for watching. I hope you were able to score some great deals over Black Friday and perhaps into Cyber Monday. Let's head on to the tutorial. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye. We're going to start by adding sandstone all over the lids as a base. Then we're going to go with Python, and we're adding that to the outer corners. And I'm actually going to add Python to the inner corners as well to fill it in so we get this kind of wing shape. Then I'm taking Varus to add some depth right here. And then we're going to go into Aria, and I'm actually buffing this into the crease right here towards Varus. Now I'm going to take Lime Chrome and adding that to the center of the lid, acting also as a transition shade from Varus. And then going into Oro, I'm adding that to the inner corners. For cheeks, we're going to do something more elaborate today. I'm taking Natasha Denona's Bloom palette, and we're applying the Glow Cream Base all over the cheeks, and I'm using a sponge to do that. You can apply this base underneath setting powder. Today I'm actually doing the reverse, so I put setting powder first and then I'm applying this base. Both will actually last you throughout the day. Then very, very light-handedly, we're gonna go into the cream blush. This shade here is gonna give you your pigment. It is very, very pigmented, so just light-handed, stamp to see what kind of pigment you get. If you like this, you can stop and then move on to the next cheek. If you want a bit more color, you can of course go ahead and add another application. Now I'm going to add the Dual Glow, and this is a powdered product, also quite pigmented. I'm going to apply that all over the cheeks. In a way, I'm actually using this powdered product to set the creams that I just put on. And we're going to use Glow Extreme, also a powdered product, and I'm using that as my highlight. I'm going to go back into Python, and I'm actually using the shade to tightline under the eyes. Then I'm taking the mini booster. This is from Sonia G's Sky Eye Set. What's left on here of Python, I'm going to smoke out the corners just a little bit, bring that shade upwards to connect with what I have on the kind of outer V. And then I'm going to add a bit of lime chrome here on the center. For lips, we're going to take Pat McGrath's Blitz Trans Formula, and this is in the shade Lady Stardust. This is the finished look.